welcome to another episode of the MetaComix Podcast. I am your host, Mike, and I am joined by my awesome co-host. Avengers Assemble or something,
Holy jumping host effects, Batman! I'm Josh.
That's your cue, Steven.
Oh, everybody chew.
Oh, birds bright, motherfucker! I'm Samuel.
Who killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. Steven here. Oh my God.
What's up, guys? With the MetaComix Podcast.
Yeah, we're a little nutty, but it's all right. We need more fun in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so to kick things off this week, we're going to do kind of like a little pick of the week from each person here today. I think we'll start with Alec. What was your book that just really grabbed your attention? Doesn't have to necessarily be something that came out last week. Could be any time, just whatever you read this week that was like, that's awesome.
All right, so right off the bat, I had a lot of picks this week because I read a lot of comics this week. I was going to pick the last issue of Convergence because I finally read it through. I was going to pick Iron Fist, but I decided that I'm going to give my pick of the week to a lesser-known character and a DC sneak peek at that. It's Midnighter. Has anyone here read it?
No, I haven't.
Do you know who Midnighter is?
Yeah.
Wait, the series hasn't come out yet.
It doesn't matter. It's a sneak peek. It's a comic.
Oh, the sneak peek.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I only know Midnighter from his appearance in Grayson.
Exactly. Okay, so this is a Grayson spin-off, pretty much.
I read him in Stormwatch.
So who Midnighter is, like, so you can understand, is
the gay Batman
master for the DC universe. Yeah, he's gay too. But yeah, think of him like Taskmaster. Like he has the same powers as Taskmaster.
Interesting.
Okay, yeah. So the reason why I love this comic is just because, like, I was reading through all the sneak peeks and some were obviously better than most, or better than some. And I'd never heard of this character before, and I was just bored on my way from work. This was like 2 hours ago, and I was just like, this one, and I picked it up, and this is how you do a sneak peek. This is how you get people invested and interested for your series coming up. Not necessarily like the Flash sneak peek, but that's a different story. But okay, so the way Midnighter starts is that he's in bed with his boyfriend, and they're like talking about how this guy needs to go to work, and so he's putting on this uniform, and it looks strangely a lot like Batman's costume.
Yeah, he's a gay Batman.
Interesting.
And so he's on his way to this crime scene, and he's talking to somebody who I think is his boyfriend, I'm not sure, about how these creeps stole a gun that allowed demons to possess people whenever they're shot. And so he arrives at the scene, and there's a truck coming at him, like a 16-wheeler. And they're just saying, oh, it doesn't matter who's in the way, just run him over. And so he breaks a stoplight off, and he, like, stabs the trunk in the bumper. And, like, all of them come flying out. And so then he proceeds to kill 2 of them. And then one of the guys with this fossil gun, as they call it, the gun that, like, that allows them to be possessed by demons, fires at him. And he's like, I already thought this out 13 different ways before the barrel even hit the gun. And, like, he just, like, it shows like this panel of him, like all the different ways that he thought about how to dodge this bullet, and then the way that he chose to do it. And so like he knocks out the guy. Before he does, the bullet hits a little girl, and the girl becomes possessed. But so he knocks out the guy, and like the guy is saying like, no, you're a psychopath, and he's like, opinion noted, and then he cracks the guy's neck.
Wow.
Yeah, and then so the girl who's possessed, he starts walking towards her, and like everyone's like, no, she's just a little girl, you can't kill her. It's like in the middle of a crowd, and he's like, oh please, this isn't a demon. And so like he picks up the girl, and he starts choking her, and he's like, I saw this milliseconds before the bullet hit the girl. This is a boom tube, and these aren't demons, these are aliens. And he's like, you have 2 options. You can either release this girl right now, or I will find you anywhere inside this multiverse, and I will kill you and deliver you to your own personal hell. And whenever you're there, ask the devil about my work.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the demon possessed girl just like zaps up, and the regular girl just comes back, and so it's like another day, another dollar, and he just walks out.
Dude, that's got me. I want to buy this now because I love crap
Right?
like that.
That was crazy, man. It was absurd.
Well, it's pretty
I
cool.
didn't like that it just had action there. It
What
didn't
are you
see.
talking about? That's great. Like
It
no,
was just a
you get
preview.
you get like
It's
that
like-
one page of like.
It
his
was okay
personal
for
life.
me.
But I mean, like from the I didn't expect this from the character from Grayson who gets his ass whooped.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty intense, man. Now, I want to check that out now myself. I love
I'm
books
just
like
pissed
that.
that he's not with his original boyfriend that he always had. They put him
You
some
would be the
other
one
guy.
who's. That's your one
Apollo.
gripe with it. It's like I like
Yeah,
the other
because-
ship better.
Stormwatch is better. Yeah, I liked him with his other boyfriend.
Do you ship Barry or Snowberry too?
Oh,
Huh? No. Well, I would want them, but that's not gonna happen.
Anyway, that's beside the point. So yeah, that is my pick of the week. Midnighter sneak peek. It is free. Anybody listening, there's no reason for you not to read it. I put my name on this book.
Yeah, it's only 8 pages.
Exactly. It's like
Yeah.
you can knock it out
Small
in like
time
2
investment.
minutes.
Yeah, small time investment. Awesome action. I mean, somebody gets their neck
Free.
snapped. I mean, yeah. I mean, come on.
Pick it up, guys. What are you doing? Stop watching this podcast right now and go to Comixology app.
Or wait till after the podcast. Go do that. Whichever one you prefer.
But yeah, that's my pick.
Well,
of the
the
week.
first issue comes out this Wednesday.
Yes, it does, along with all the other DC lined up. And
Awesome.
otherwise, my check is going to DC right now.
pretty much.
But anyway, go ahead, guys. That's my pick of the week.
What's yours, Steven? What book got your attention this week?
Oh, Iron Fist, The Living Weapon, issue number 12.
Yeah, it did.
It got me real hard on that one. I mean, it has some deep stories in there, especially with Iron Fist's girlfriend. I was pissed about what happened there. I don't know if I should spoil it for comic book fans. I want to pick it up.
Review.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
what. If you're on YouTube right now and you see the name MetaComix, just automatically assume spoilers.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, guys, spoil the hell out of it, man. Spoil it like milk.
Oh my god! It's just that the girl that he was with ended up killing herself because she was sent to kill Iron Fist, but she fell in love with him, so she couldn't deal with the fact of trying to kill him, killing someone that she fell in love with, so she killed herself.
It's crazy.
That's like pretty deep. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I was reading it in my heart like skipped a beat. I was like, no, I liked her.
Yeah, I liked her too because she knew how to fight. It was like, wow, finally a girlfriend you don't have to protect.
Right? And I mean, like, my first assumption was
Yeah,
like,
because that is such
no.
a pain in the ass having to protect a chick all the time. Like,
Oh, what do
I
you call
thought
it?
she was to be the new Iron Fist. She had the potential to be the
She
new
really
Iron Fist.
did, dude. She really did. But I mean, like, the thing is, and we gotta, like, it's on the name of the channel, it's on the name of the podcast, comics. So, I mean, like, how long is she gonna stay dead? Really?
right.
She's a great character.
Nobody stays
Well, they
dead in
made her in
comics.
this series, which I hope they do make her back.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, girls get a really, like, they get a bad rep in the comic book world. Like, if you're a love interest to a character, you're automatically on the list that of like the death reap.
They did that with Red Hulk. He had a good love interest, and they killed her off.
Who
and she
didn't
never
have a
came
good
back.
love interest who died? Gwen Stacy, anybody?
Yeah, for real.
Does anybody remember Kyle?
There's a whole website dedicated talking about that. It's called like Girl in the Refrigerator or something.
Yeah, girl.
Oh yeah,
Does anybody remember
Kyle
Kyle
Rayner.
Rayner's girlfriend?
Yeah.
Mike,
Yeah,
you don't
that's
know
what it
about
all
this.
started with, like
So-
the website and everything.
Yeah, like this got the fans riling, and like by fans I mean feminists, like riling about this. So
I don't blame
Kyle
him.
Rayner
It's
comes
interesting.
home after a long day of being at the Green Lantern to his girlfriend dead in the fridge.
What the hell?
Yeah,
That's pretty creepy.
yeah, exactly.
Well, you see, it's not even the fact like the whole website thing. Like, it's not even the fact that they kill them and stuff. It's the fact that they always use the girls to further the male
Yeah,
characters and
sacrifice.
stuff. and
Right.
by like putting them in terrible situations and everything.
Yeah, I know. That's why I like Daredevil. He's like, he just like f's another girl each week, and he's like, all right, none of you. He's like no strings attached.
Well, he's kept the last one that he's been with in the current Daredevil series. He's been with her for 2 runs already.
Well, it's like if you are a love interest for a comic book character, you have one of 2 fates. Well, one of 3 fates. 1, you're either going to be murdered. 2, you're going to be divorced. Or 3, you're going to be a superhero yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I mean, that's the 3 paths that seem to always be taken.
Or in in some special cases, all 3.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Yeah.
Like, let's see. Well, Gwen Stacy got the last 2. You're going to be murdered and you're going to be turned into a superhero.
That's very true.
Or a supervillain. There's a lot of those running around, too.
Yeah.
That's usually because they're divorced.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they die, they come back, and they're mad at their ex-lover.
Spurned, man. Spurned.
But, like, would you, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much would you recommend this issue, Steven?
I would give it like 4 out of 5 stars. And what is it?
I could talk about how that's not what I asked, but you know.
Oh, I think everybody should get this issue. But I also like that Iron Fist has a mentor. I mean, he's gonna be a mentor to someone who has the potential to become Iron Fist, some little girl. And I like to see that in the
I would
future.
rather see the girlfriend become Iron Fist, though.
Yeah, that's why I was like, but I was just like, okay, maybe this little girl be Iron Fist as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I really did want to see the wife, his girlfriend.
Maybe his girlfriend
I
would
like
become
his
Steel
wife
Fist.
because they had a perfect match.
Or like Gold Fist. Or something weird like that. I could see that happening. It's Marvel.
Yeah, definitely.
And Luke Cage was there too, which made it more awesome.
Yeah. Luke Cage could be Black Fist. Heyo!
Oh God, that sounds so racist.
I went there.
Okay.
Goodbye, viewers.
Every superhero, every black superhero has the name Black in it, except for Black Canary.
Power Man. Luke
He's the only
Cage.
exception. I know, it's a joke.
But I mean, like, but Power Man just sounds so 90s, doesn't it?
It does, man. Absolutely sound 90s.
Well, they have Power Girl, and it's apparently acceptable.
And also his costume, though. Like, whenever he first became Power Man,
Yeah.
with like the little afro and the wide open shirt.
Well, there is one that's named Power Man, which is the younger character like Luke Cage. I forgot what's his name.
Marvel characters don't really have that like original names, though.
He's in Mighty Avengers.
Like, hey, this guy got bit by a spider, and let's call him Spider-Man.
Yeah, they're
Victor Alvarez.
Yeah, they're not very original necessarily.
Look
But-
at this.
Well,
outfit made
DC
of
does the same
iron.
thing. They have
Iron
they have
Man.
Superman, Supergirl, Superboy.
Yeah, but I mean, they also have like Shazam, Martian Manhunter.
Well, they have Captain Marvel with Shazam and
Nightwing.
Mary Marvel. They all have
Robin.
the same powers.
But you see, that's not an original DC character.
Oh yeah, it's not originally.
Got him.
Yeah, I know, but it's about DC does it too. It's not just Marvel.
Anyway, back from that tangent we just went off.
Josh, what was your pick for the week?
Mine was actually from the week before, A-Force #1.
Oh,
Sweet.
Because it's the all-girl team that's, led by She-Hulk. And then you have, like, Miss America, Medusa, Nico from Runaways, which is awesome because she actually has a part in this, too. She's not just, like, there in one scene. Because they kind of push back, like, you have, like, Jean Grey and a couple other big characters that they kind of just push to the back in this. Like, they have appearances, like Jean Grey, Captain Marvel and them. Like, they have appearances, but they're just pushed to the back. And they bring up lesser known characters, and they're all female characters too, and they're like the protectors of this part of Battle World. It's really cool.
I didn't
Then
like
you
it.
What? Really?
I hated that issue. Sorry.
Why?
Oh my
You really want to know why?
Yeah, why?
Some strong opinions here.
Because all they do is, I thought it was gonna be something. Because the storyline is pretty done with the shark. That they just.
Okay, but you have to remember, most of what's happening in Secret World is kind of in the Battle World is kind of dumb.
It is really.
This is true. This is true. Battle World number 1, anybody?
Oh my gosh!
Shut up! Oh my god, the worst one I've read was Secret Wars Journal, which is just like Battle World. I don't understand why have 2 series about the same thing? Like they both have short stories that's within the Battle World. It's like,
Well, okay, let's take it one step
seriously, you
further.
have two-
Everything
you
that's
have two
happening inside
series,
Secret Wars
same
is stupid.
thing?
Yeah.
Secret Wars is just like, it's a. See, they could have done like something like Convergence, where it's like, hey, 2 months, bam, reboot. But they're like, you know what? Let's reboot our continuity, and while we're at it, let's squeeze out every dime from it too.
Yes. So they have 2 series of the same crappy shit.
You really
And then
just
while we're at it again, let's cancel all our good series until like the readers are forced to read these.
So Mike, avoid Secret Wars Journal, whatever.
And
Yeah.
apparently A-Force.
It's the same thing as Battle World.
I don't know. This is pretty polarizing.
Short stories.
I highly recommend A-Force. I thought it was great, and it was a lot of fun. You have to take it what it is. You can't, like, it's a Secret Wars book. It's not a normal continuity comic book. It's gonna have some weird crap happening in it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I heard about this concept whenever it was first conceived or whenever it was first announced, and I completely forgot about it. So can you tell me a little bit more about A-Force? Like,
I just don't like that.
what are these characters? Like, I don't even know who Medusa is. Like, I know who Medusa, the mythological creature, is, but I don't know who, like...
No, Medusa the Inhuman.
Oh,
The
Inhuman.
Yeah. The Queen
That's
of the
why I
Inhumans.
don't know her.
Now I remember. I don't like it.
I don't know.
I don't like it because America Chavez gets punished for Miss America gets punished for killing a shark.
No, she doesn't get punished for killing a shark. She gets punished for throwing something over the wall. Which makes sense because you're not supposed to cross into other territories, and she throws something into another territory.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it was a stupid thing for her to do.
Well, it was a stupid thing for her to do, but it's America Chavez. What do you, like, she's impulsive.
Oh, no. You know what's happening, guys. There's only one way to settle this. Every time that we get in an argument, you guys have to name a random character, and I decide which one wins. So go ahead, Steven.
Why?
Name a random character.
I
Josh,
don't
not
know.
looking through the issue. You have to pick a random character.
Okay, She-Hulk.
Okay, go ahead, Steven. All right, Josh. You have to pick a random character.
Random character
Random character from Marvel.
from Marvel.
Yes.
Deadpool.
All right. Ooh, that's a toughie.
Yeah.
Who would pay to get that issue? I would. Let's see. I'm gonna say Deadpool assaults She-Hulk, but then She-Hulk arrests, detains, and prosecutes him. So She-Hulk wins. Boom. Josh, you're done. Wait. Yeah,
Josh still
Steven, you
can't
win.
like the issue. I'm not gonna argue about that. I don't do one of those.
Alrighty.
So-
Now, how
So
about
Josh-
Mr. MetaComix? Mike, what's your pick of the week?
I thought it was really good, and it makes sense for what's happening in Secret Wars. Outside of Secret Wars,
Right.
it would be stupid. But for being in Secret Wars, it makes sense, and I thought it was pretty fun to read.
Awesome.
Opinion noted.
That's awesome.
Mr. MetaComix.
My pick was Old Man Logan #1. That
We all
was
slipped on that.
probably that is the best tie-in that I've read for the Secret War stuff. Most of the Secret War stuff, I can't wait till this is over and then we just get back into regular titles. Honestly, I just
Yeah.
can't wait for that day.
Yeah, I really can't wait for that.
I knew it was going to be your pick, so I was like, I'll let Mike have it.
Yeah, I can't believe how good that it was, man. For me, I'm a big fan of like Punisher style comics and like if it's ultra violent, I probably love it. And this was really ultra violent for a Marvel book, man. You got frickin' Wolverine looking like Clint Eastwood, straight like shish kebabbing dudes left and right, guts hanging out, blood splatter all over the panels, and I loved that, and I loved how like he was just badass this whole time. Like there was none of this. Well, should I or shouldn't I kill these human traffickers? He was just like, I'm gonna kill them, and if you guys don't take this leftover world that you have and make something of it, I'm gonna come back and kill you too. And I'm just like, that's how you get stuff done.
That was my second pick of the week. I love Old Man Logan. I just didn't want to pick it because everyone picked it in the websites.
Yeah, I didn't want to pick it because I knew Mike was gonna pick it. So
I forgot that it existed.
Oh, dude! Listen, I'm honest to goodness. Here's my overall opinion. If you're only going to keep up with one tie-in, it ought to be that one. Yeah, it ought to be that one. If you're going to put down money, $5 for a book.
But I'm so interested about the Spider-Verse one. Said no one ever.
Oh, the Spider-Verse one is good too. I like it.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not as good as Old Man Logan.
Yeah, it's not as good as Old Man Logan.
Yeah, Old Man Logan was amazing. It was amazing.
And I love Andrea Soriano as the artist.
Yeah, the art was freaking amazing. I loved.
I've always loved that artist because I mean they did. I don't know if it's a he or a she, but they did good in Green Arrow and X-Men on the X-Men.
The art it kind of reminded me of like a Clint Eastwood movie. This whole issue in general.
Yes. It was like a spaghetti western, like one of those spaghetti western movies. Like
instead of guns, he has claws and adamantium.
In one of the podcasts I was listening to, one of the complaints I heard from one of the hosts was how about Old Man Logan was the fights and how like you couldn't really see what was happening. But I really like that because of the fact that in a real fight, especially a Wolverine fight, you wouldn't be able to see what was happening.
Well, that artist always tries to make an art out of the fight and the action.
Yeah,
action.
That was a little weird at times.
It's his own unique art is in the action.
Well, I mean, it allows you to piece together in your head,
exactly. Like there was a few little like weird things that I didn't like too much, like when he was crashing out the window and it spelled crash in the background. I wasn't a fan of that, but
yeah. I liked that one. It's almost like a mosaic where it had it was right in that first fight with the Daredevil gang or whatever, and it had like the claws and it had the different small panels. Like I would love to have a cloth poster of that and hang it up on my wall, man.
Oh my god, I want the mountain scene. That was beautiful. That mountain scene.
Mhm.
I'm just glad that they had Baby Hulk.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome.
Especially because, like I just said, how I was reading a week or two ago, I was reading the Mark Millar run of Fantastic Four. They have they have a reference to that in there, where you have a whole coming from the future into the present time with Wolverine, and he was raised by Wolverine. So I was just like, oh, okay.
Yep.
It was
sweet.
If anything, I want the final product of Secret Wars to be Old Man Logan in the main continuity. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Oh my god, that would be interesting.
That would be amazing.
I would love that. Yeah, I would love that.
Can you imagine, it's a little too late now. But just imagine if
some characters gonna carry over to the reboot.
Yeah.
Like Mestro is gonna carry over.
Just imagine if Old Man Logan was placed right in the beginning of Colin Bunn's Magneto run. And, he's just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm tired of these people, too. Let's just team up and mess all these people up. Would that not be amazing?
Something I noticed, though, reading all these, I'm reading, 3 issues from Marvel a week, at least. So I'm reading 3 different, I'm reading a bunch of the different tie-ins, man. I'm reading a crap ton of them. I'm noticing the one theme through all of them is Doctor Doom has split all these people apart and segregated them off and says you can't cross over to other territories. Now, why would he do that? Because what happens if the heroes find out about each other? You're going to have the Avengers all over again, and he's going to get taken out. He knows that. I'm positive this is the direction they're going with this. So now you've got Logan climbing the wall. You've got Miss America throwing something over the wall. Everything in every issue is ended with something about the damn wall. So it's obvious that all these people are going to start coming over, and that's when we're going to start seeing the real like crap hit the fan. Mm-hmm. And I just, it's like, I wish it wasn't so dang obvious as far as that part of the story goes. I know they're going to throw curveballs, at least Hickman is in the main book, the Secret Wars book, but you can kind of see the rest of this just like, coming.
What is the area called that Old Man Logan is in?
Wastelands, I believe.
Wastelands? Alright.
Yeah.
And the mutants are in Utopia, right?
Yeah, so something like that.
Alright. So then Logan is climbing into... he could be climbing into either Utopia or Westchester, which I think those are where the mutants are.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So you have Old Man Logan climbing over into the wall to where he's going to see all his old friends that he's seen die already, that he had to kill.
Okay, so in other words, everyone pick up Old Man Logan issue 2.
Yeah, this is going to get good.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Or he just, throws a curveball and, lands in Planet Hulk.
That is going to be amazing. I mean, unless he's going the other way, which it did not look like that from the frame since he was on that side, but could just be them. But if he's going the other way, he would be going into 2099, which wouldn't be as cool, but it would still be pretty cool.
It was alright. That one was decent.
So, yeah.
Alrighty, guys. We are going to shift gears a little bit here, and we are going to move into the next segment of the show, which is our character spotlight. And this week, we have a really awesome character for the character spotlight.
That's being humble.
This may be one of the greatest characters ever made that nobody knows about, honestly. I mean,
honestly, yes.
I mean, it's like when these guys, when Alec in particular told me about Quantum and Woody, I'd never heard of them before. I'd never read anything from them. I haven't really read a whole lot of Valiant books in general, but I thought, hey, this sounds kind of like a fun book. It kind of sounds like something that's funny, kind of a little bit comedic. And it absolutely is if you haven't read it. It's freaking fantastic. The humor's great. But there is one character, and it's not Quantum or Woody, that stood out, that when I saw this in the first volume as I was reading it, I literally got up and showed my wife. I'm like a freaking 5-year-old kid. I'm like, hey, honey, look at this. This freaking goat is awesome. Which you could kind of guess the kind of response I got back from that. Like, she looked at me like I was, I don't retarded or something. I don't know. It's just like, what the hell is the matter with you? It's a goat. So, yeah, the goat.
His name is actually, I found this out, Vincent Van Goats. That's what Woody
Yes, I was going to say it.
But, the fandom refers to him as Goat Dad.
Yep.
The reason behind this is, does anyone else want to take this?
You can.
Man, you probably have the most. You and Josh have the most time and experience with this book, so you go ahead and run with it, man.
All right, so let me throw this at you. I'm gonna give you a brief synopsis of Quantum Woody because that's kind of necessary. So pretty much, this guy named I'm just gonna call him Quantum for time's sake. Quantum is this African American man raised in a well-respected family. His father was a head scientist, and he was a student. His father became a foster father after his wife died, and fostered this kid named Woody. Now, Woody is a white kid, and he's rambunctious, rebellious spirit, I want to say, because he grows into the same person pretty much. And so the series really kicks off whenever the father dies from mysterious means. And so Quantum and Woody, who haven't seen each other in a long time, go to his funeral, and they have at it. They have this long fight. Yada yada yada. They go to their father's lab to figure out what happened, which is one of the most hysterical scenes I've ever seen. And they get blasted with this kind of the closest parallel is once again the particle accelerator. from the Flash. That's kind of what it is. And so they get imbued with these kind of like laser powers. And so the thing about Quantum and Woody is that like this is not a story spotlight. I'm sorry about this. So anyway, just breezing past all the details. They're fighting this group called like the Edison something. And it's pretty much like this that's not their name.
I'm trying to remember what it was. Just ERA.
ERA, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
ERA.
And pretty much it's like based off of Thomas Edison, and what they do is they steal genius futuristic works and use them for their own personal gain. Kind of like playing off of like how Thomas Edison stole Nikola Tesla's stuff. But so anyway, they break into the headquarters of ERA. Quantum does. Woody gets kidnapped. And on his way to free Woody, Quantum releases all these genetic experiments, one of which is a goat. And to the viewers at this point, it's not really known what the goat is, it's just a goat. And so he walks into the room, and everyone just looks at Quantum, and they're like, oh, this is weird. Like,
some of those monsters were like dinosaurs and stuff like that, like big, huge monsters that you would think that everyone would be afraid of.
Yeah. But so they all look at Quantum, and they pretty much like look at him like he's gonna die. They're like, no, you walked into a trap, right? And then the goat walks in, and everyone just freaks out. They're like, oh my god, he released the goat! What's going on? And the ghost blows the roof off the place.
And that was my favorite scene of that whole thing.
It was amazing.
It's the most memorable scene out of the first volume, anyway.
That scene where you know the goat walks out, and they just have that panel with Quantum with like his doing like a face palm, like he's so embarrassed, like oh my god.
He's like, I feel like you guys are mocking me right now.
Yeah.
Everyone, it's loose.
And then the next thing you just see like the little like blood or little blood splatters or whatever in the next panel, and you're just like
shooting everywhere.
It was fantastic.
And so like to make a long story incredibly short, the goat is like the father's mind is inside the goat. Quantum and Woody's father's mind is inside the goat, and he's really like the strong brain powerhouse of the group, which is hysterical.
It's hilarious, and it just gets better from there because the last run of Quantum and Woody is Quantum and Woody Must Die. It's a 4-issue miniseries, and the goat's in there again, and the goat is a female goat, by the way. I think.
Oh man, that's awkward.
I think I'm not entirely sure.
So wait a minute, is the father trapped inside a female goat?
I'm pretty sure because in Quantum Woody Must Die, the goat is pregnant.
Oh my god!
But they have no idea
oh my god, it's awkward.
They have no idea how, and they have no idea what's going to come out of it, and they don't show it. At the end, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go take care of whatever comes out of the goat."
So
and it's just like, well,
to give a brief biography of the goat, this goat was, of course, a genetic experiment like many others, and like he was imbued with the ability to sustain some kind of flight, laser shooting powers, and like super strength. Like that was just the goat normal. And then whenever his father I'm not going to spoil that. But so whenever his father passes away, they're trying to extract some kind of information from him. Like, because he has like this really futuristic technology. And so what they do is they take his mind like through some device and they transfer it into the goat. So now, not only is it like a goat, but it could fly, has super strength, and it can shoot lasers, and it is a genius scientist. All in one. Wrapped up in one neat little package.
In a goat.
It's
just.
I wouldn't say neat.
It's really wacky concept.
Oh my gosh!
And when you read this book, the whole idea that they put this guy and a female goat make him pregnant totally fits in with everything else that they do in this book.
That's the crazy thing. Really.
The goat has a transgender complex.
It's not out of the question for this to be a thing.
Yeah. I mean, this book is just so amazing. Like, I'm so glad that you guys turned me on to that because it's definitely if you guys out there haven't checked this out, you absolutely need to. And this goat, I guarantee you, will be like your top favorite character by the time it's all said and done.
I don't know, man. I really like Woody.
Yeah, I like Woody too, but the goat, man, there's just something. I just like those oddball characters like that, and I don't think it gets more oddball than the goat.
Well, see, that's
Now,
the thing. Like, Quantum of Woody is one of my favorite comic books.
Yeah.
And the whole thing that turned me on to it is that on my own independent podcast, Comic Books DVD,
Shameless plug.
This guy was talking about it, and he was like, yeah, I'm on a Valiant kick. I was reading some Quantum of Woody with the laser shooting goat, and I stopped him. I was like, wait, the laser shooting goat? And he's like, yeah. So that's the goat got me into Quantum of Woody, and then I stayed around for the rest of the characters.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question.
I randomly found it at a comic book shop, and one of the guys was like, "Oh yeah, it's really good. It's kind of like Deadpool, but not as in your face." And so I was like,
I was
okay,
wondering.
I'll pick it up.
I was just wondering, is Quantum a ripoff of Deadpool, or he just looks like
No,
him?
not at
No,
all.
he just looks like him.
No.
Okay.
See, yeah, and the funny thing about this run, the lady.
Ah!
Uh-oh.
Your mic is
My
mute.
bad.
Say that again, because then I'm mute.
Okay. Yeah, so, like, the thing about Quantum of Woody, the latest run, is that it's a reboot of
Yeah.
1996 run.
Yeah.
And in this reboot, they like, continuously make fun of it. Like, one of the biggest complaints of the fans of the original series was the way that Quantum looked. Like, he looked like a Deadpool meets Batman with a bunch of pouches and, like, a cape. And in this comic, they completely like rip on the pouches. They're like, "Why are you wearing those pouches? You look like a bondage freak." And like he ends up just giving the pouches and the cape to a hobo.
Yeah. I love the scene where the hobo's going down in the cart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm the king of the world.
and he's just like, I just wanted a cape.
And for a brief visual, I'm gonna let this autofocus. This is the goat.
How can you not love that face, you know?
Goat.
Well, may I ask, why is he called Vincent Van Gogh?
Woody just called him that. It's Woody.
You would understand once you read it and you like have Woody's character. You'll understand.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought he was visiting the actual Vincent Van Gogh that turned to a goat.
No. That would be crazy, man. Well, I mean, the way that he splatters blood on the wall is very artistic. Who would agree? I think I saw the Starry Night in like the murder for HG Mayhem that he was in.
So
Yeah.
here's the question: if the goat crossed over, Vincent Van Gogh crossed over into Marvel or DC, who would be the character who could take him out? Because this frickin' goat is amazingly powerful.
Hold on. You see that, ladies and gentlemen? This is a brief tutorial as to how not to segue. Thank you very much for your demonstration, Mike.
You are welcome.
So, to do this short and to get the screen off of him. The question on everyone's mind this week, it seems, I've been having a lot of discussions with a lot of my friends. They're saying that DC characters are physically stronger than Marvel characters. And as you can tell, this breaks down into the age-old question, is DC better than Marvel? To which I personally say yes. But do I say that Marvel characters are stronger? Yes. DC characters are nowhere near as like physically strong as Marvel characters. And I'm sure all of our listeners, you included, will agree.
And I think we should look at two separate questions too. The whole idea of which ones are physically stronger, but aside from that, which does that make one or the other better? Does that make Marvel characters better because they're maybe not stronger, or if they are stronger, does that make them better than the DC characters? And so should people read whatever? Because I know that starts a lot of flame wars, but I think that we can actually intelligently discuss that and I want to prove that point.
Not
So-
that you could.
I do want to preface my opinion with this, that while I do think that DC heroes are physically stronger, I do think that Marvel would win in a fight because of the fact that the DC heroes will always try and find another way than to kill. Whereas Marvel heroes, on the other hand, most of them are willing to kill when it comes down to it. There are some that aren't, but more so than DC.
I would say that. Now,
So I think that in a fight, Marvel would win simply because they'll end up killing them. Maybe slowly, but they still will.
but the question is, does that mean that they're necessarily stronger?
No, that's
Like,
what I'm saying. I want to that's what I'm prefacing that with. That while I do think DC is stronger, Marvel
And
would
just-
win in a
Just to clarify, we're not adding super strength into the mix because I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
Superman's gonna lift more than Captain America.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
We're just saying, like, say Superman got blasted with a red sun ray, and like Captain America got the super soldier serum like knocked out of him. Just like, who would win? Like, pretty much, who's stronger, Batman or Black Widow? That kind of thing. Like, who would win in a fight? And to say, I would personally say Marvel characters would win in a fight against most DC characters. The odd exception being Batman, just because they're more well trained. I mean, you have Superman, who he could blow on you and he could send you flying into a different galaxy.
Well,
But, like,
Superman was never trained by anyone.
exactly.
Yeah.
Take that away from him. He's just the brawler.
Right.
Whereas Captain America has trained everyone and their mama how to fight.
Right. And,
Even
and I mean,
Iron Man without his outfit could whoop the
Yeah. yeah, Superman without his powers, like, I mean, imagine him going up against somebody like Daredevil. I mean,
Precisely.
it'd pretty much be, game over. But, with Batman, I think he's the weirdest one out of all of the DC characters because he doesn't have any physical kind of enhancements, yet if you honestly look at how strong he is, just as a human being, it's freakish, it's
And that moves on to my next point as to why Marvel characters are stronger than DC characters. It's one of the strongest arguments is that their strength is more consistent. There's an easier way to measure Marvel characters because Batman, his strength solely depends on who's around. In his solo series, he's nowhere near as strong as he is in Justice League. Why? Because they want to power him up to play with these gods. So like
right.
Batman by himself could get broken by Bane. Batman with the Justice League could punch Bane through a brick wall.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way to really tell. Whereas, like, Deadpool will kill anybody at any time with any weapon.
Yeah,
And-
including a chimichanga. All he's got to do is eat it and fart and somebody's dead, I'm sure. So
I mean, no matter where you are, Hawkeye is still going to kill you. He's still going to shoot you with his arrow. It doesn't matter who he's around. So,
Yeah, a lot of the Marvel characters are trained. That's why I think Marvel was so much stronger.
The thing is that they may be trained, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're stronger. But the reason that I think that DC is inherently stronger is because of the fact that what they face is much bigger because it's more on a universal scale, whereas Marvel's more on a cosmic scale. It's more just like inside what's happening around them, whereas like it's not so much multiverses and stuff that they have to fight. It's mostly just that one universe. Whereas with DC, they're having all these multiverses converging and stuff all the dang time.
Convergence.
They're having to like fight all these things that can just go through different universes, not just one solo universe or two universes.
Mhm.
So I feel like that they have to be stronger just because of that.
Well, see, and the thing is also, like, I know this is going against, like, what I believe in, which is Marvel characters are stronger. But you think about, like, the Justice League's fight with Darkseid, and then you think about the Avengers fight with Thanos. Two characters equally like terrifying, but think about how many characters it took to defeat them.
Batman punches Darkseid in the face.
Exactly. Not Wolverine. Wonder Woman stabs him in the eyes. Like, it's 5 characters facing off against this god, and then the Avengers do like 50-something facing against this one guy. So I mean, like, I can see where you're coming at with that kind of stuff. Like, the threats that they face they're more isolated, first of all, and they're slightly more threatening. Whereas, like, the crime syndicate, where like they know all their weaknesses already, but they still somehow have to face them.
Well, and I think, too, what goes along with what you guys are saying is that on DC, the characters are a lot more mythological in nature, so they have to have these, like, massive threats that match or exceed their skill set, their power set, because that otherwise it would be a challenge, it wouldn't be worth reading. Whereas Marvel is your more street level, kind of, even their supervillains are still kind of street level. So, and you got the DC kind of superpowered gods thing going on, because that's the kind of threats they face are people who have that ability, whereas in Marvel you've got the kind of villains like Doctor Doom and a lot of those guys who require a different kind of power and skill set. So you have
I wouldn't say Doctor Doom simply because of the fact that Doctor Doom is just insanely powerful at this point in time. He's just insane. Like, I don't understand like what they're doing with this guy, because they have essentially made him a god more than once, and I don't understand why. Like, why Doom of all things? But
because he wants to make peace. People think he's a bad guy, but he's actually a good person.
History is told by the victors. It all depends on perspective.
Rule over everybody.
But anyway, so yeah, I could see you guys, but I'm gonna argue with you. This is coming from a DC fanboy, so it pains me to say this. The thing is, DC is all like gods and monsters, like these otherworldly threats. Marvel, yes, it's more street level, but think about the variety that they have. Like, I mean, you have DC, Shazam, Superman. The difference is one of them shoots flames out of their eyes, one of them shoots lightning from the sky. So, big whoop. Think about just the movie Avengers. You have Captain America, a super soldier with a shield. You have Thor, a god. You have Iron Man, a genius. And that's leading into my other point. Because they face such street-level characters and close, like, these characters that they face, like, in their own comics, are very close to their own powers, it allows them to become smarter, more strategic whenever they fight. Because I mean, like, you could easily take out a new god by punching the living hell out of it, but like you can't necessarily do that to Doctor Doom, because he's not going to let you that close. You have to think about a way to get inside his defenses. You have to think about the advantages and disadvantages of every move that you make, and that's how I feel like Marvel characters would first easily defeat DC characters in a fight, and 2 are stronger.
What also bothers me about DC, they don't have their own Illuminati.
Because none of them are smart.
Exactly. That's why I think Marvel is physically stronger, because they have a lot of smart characters.
But
DC is like a lot of talk.
See, y'all are like, I understand what y'all are saying, but at the same time, y'all are still going a little bit out of the context of the just strength, because you're going more into tactics and everything like that.
Think about, like, how are you going to measure who's stronger? You're going to measure
just
you can measure it easily, like, weights.
Just think about like the level of the things that they fight. Like, it's different, but the thing is that you're right, they are a little bit different. But you still have to think of like just the basics level, not the style, just the level of it.
All right. Okay, you forced me to do this, Josh. You forced me to do this. I did not want to do this, but it came to this point because you decided you want to go against me. So, name the strongest DC character that you could possibly imagine, and I promise you, I have one that's stronger without powers.
Wait, the strongest? Okay, the strongest one that you can possibly imagine in DC. I mean, come on.
Without powers?
I mean...
Throw in your power. If you want to play powers, you can play powers. Go ahead. Throw in the strongest DC character with powers. And I'll name one character that will whoop your character's ass. Go ahead.
Okay. I mean, Superman's the strongest.
Superman, okay. All right, Kal-El, this last son of Krypton. How would he fare against my good gal, Squirrel Girl?
Done.
Done. Come on, it's a joke character.
That's the one you win with?
You want to talk about who they face and the different levels that they face. The whole Justice League could face Darkseid. Squirrel Girl could defeat Galactus. So I mean, I didn't want it to come to this point. The millions of fans watching this right now all think that you look stupid.
Yeah, I was stupid. But she never actually fights Galactus.
All right,
Yeah, she just defeats him by taking him to a planet where there's a lot of life energy, and they're all nuts. Nuts full with life energy.
If you want to take it with the Galactus fight, let's go to Thanos fight. Who else can make the god, pretty much the god of space and time and continuum, like, feel salty that they lost the fight?
Batman.
But can he really? Can he?
He punched Darkseid in the face. Come on.
Darkseid's acknowledged that and then shot him with an Omega Beam.
True.
Squirrel Girl whooped the shit out of Thanos, and that Thanos swore on his life that it wasn't him.
Okay,
No.
yeah, but that
Well,
doesn't make Thanos
Not
look
according
big.
to Watsu, the Watcher.
So what
Exactly.
you're saying is that Thanos is a little big.
No, what I'm saying is that Squirrel Girl ass any day of the week. Squirrel Girl will force feed him nuts.
But what you basically just said is that Thanos is too much of a wimp to admit that he lost.
No, I'm saying that Thanos is this huge godly creature entity,
I
and
mean, that's all
this
I'm getting
single
out of it, is that
character-
Thanos.
this single character could turn him around and make him seem like a wimp. Yes, the one thing that you gather from this conversation is that Thanos is a wimp, but Squirrel Girl made him a wimp.
Okay.
Mike, do you have anything to say? Because I'll bust it right on you too.
I can't argue with the Squirrel Girl thing, man. That's like mic drop. I don't know how to come back from that. So.
Steven, I know you're on my side, but go ahead, try to defend DC. Go ahead.
I can't defend. I'm on your side.
I know, but just
And
try it. Just try it. I'm not
If
done
you
yet.
want to talk about powers,
Alright, hold
like
on.
in characters with powers, you have Scarlet Witch, you have Franklin Richards who could do reality changing.
You have the Infinity.
You have 5.
And you have so many telepaths. There's Jean Grey, Professor X, Rachel Summers, and
You have Vibe, who could shake things really fast. You have the Flash, who could run really fast. You have Superman, who could lift things kind of fast. Like, no.
Okay.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Professor X is a really strong expert on mind reading. You don't know
Marvel.
how good he's at mind reading. He's been so skilled with it.
Go ahead, bring
He's
any
probably-
characters to the Xavier Imagine and see if Xavier can't make him drop his pants and spin in circles. If you want to throw in powers on this, Marvel will still beat
I'm
you.
wondering if he would be fast enough to do it to the. I don't think he could be fast enough to be able to do it to the Flash, because the Flash can think so fast that he wouldn't be able to catch up.
Well, I mean, not if he has the time gem where he could like slow down time. So
Okay, so now you're just going.
Oh
now
no,
you're
that's just
all this
cheating.
man, I pull all the cards. I don't care.
Goodness.
As it stands right now, DC can have their little convergences, but take one of those towns and put it in Battle World and see if it lasts. Old
The
Man
only
Logan will
strong
come and whoop
character
their
I can
ass.
see with DC is like Swamp Thing or
I mean-
Constantine.
Let's just play it like this. Okay, you don't want to put in powers, but you
That's
want to
the
put
time.
on super individuals. Let's go Hawkeye versus Green Arrow. Who would win? The guy who decides that he wants to fit his bows with or his arrows with boxing gloves, or the guy who's a stone cold Louisiana killer?
Well, wait. Are we talking about the most recent Green Arrow or the original Green Arrow?
Well, I mean, both of them are pussies.
Well,
so.
they could go toe to toe with each other. I don't.
I think they would go.
Good.
Okay, hold on. If you're talking about just a straight bow fight,
Straight bow
I
fight.
give it to Green Arrow. If you're talking hand to hand, I give it to Hawkeye.
All right, let's
I
hear your
agree with
reasoning.
that.
Yeah, that's pretty sound, I think.
How?
Well,
See, Green Arrow's just a better shot, whereas Hawkeye is much better hand to hand.
I mean, I wouldn't really agree with that. Mostly because like there's such thing as skill and talent. Yeah, Green Arrow has a whole lot of skill for archery. He learned it over time. He disciplined himself to train in the field. But
Yeah, but skill
Hawkeye was
totally
able to shoot a can 6 miles away when he was like 5 years old, dude. Like, he has an inborn, innate talent for this kind of thing. It comes naturally to him. Where Green Arrow has to train and practice and continue.
God, I'm tired of that excuse.
What? What
In
excuse?
comic books, it's always do that.
Okay.
Natural skill like Batman. He's naturally skilled.
Exactly. I don't agree with that one.
All right, let's say how about I was gonna say the Atom, but never mind. He doesn't really count.
Adam.
How about Cyborg versus Iron Man?
I think that would actually be a pretty cool fight.
That would be a cool fight.
You want white noise blasters or compulsion blasts? Which one wins? I can go into the in-depth science about it, but I don't know.
That'll be difficult because Iron Man's very smart.
Okay. Well,
Tommy's talking
yeah,
EMP.
I feel like it's pretty much the same way. Like, I feel like with most of these characters that are really similar, the fights would end up pretty much the same. Like, they each have like a better talent. As in, like, I feel like if Cyborg can grab onto Iron Man, which I don't think he would ever be able to, but if he could,
Unless you admit it.
Yeah. If he could, then he would.
Josh just lost.
He would be able to plug in and just hack over systems. But
Listen.
totally too fast.
Cyborg will arrive on the scene with his dark side, weird-ass armor. Tony Stark will just come. We're talking about Superior Iron Man, the cold-blood killer. He'll just come, EMP his heart.
Oh, yeah.
Boom! Cyborg's dead. Next.
Oh, yeah. I definitely...
Mike, you're supposed to debate. What's wrong? What's going on?
Mike is just sitting there in awe because he's like, I want to debate against Alex, but I don't want to get whooped on my channel.
I know. I'm just like, right now I feel like it's just me and Alex doing this whole little debate. Come on, guys.
Come on, Mike.
I'm just listening.
Well, I'm already on Alex side, which is weird.
Steven chose right. You can't be mad at him for not saying anything. But Mike, come on, your man's getting eaten alive. Throw yourself in there.
I think that's doing pretty good, honestly.
I don't know. You see, like I think that I think I agree with the whole deal right there with the superior superior Iron Man, because, like you said, the dude has like no morals whatsoever. So there's
superior Iron Man is so cruel. I don't like him.
Yeah, like he just come in and it's over, like you said. As far as like overall, I don't know, man. I still lean more towards DC having the upper hand in a lot of cases.
Why is
but
that? All right, let's take away all the characters. Let's just take away the characters. Let's put the universes against each other. How about that? We're talking about multiverses. We're talking about different realms. We're talking about everything. Now,
talking about Beyonders against Beyonders.
There you go. We're talking about Watchers versus whatever the hell DC has. Okay, a good way to compare this is to put it in like another character fight. Constantine versus Doctor Strange. Who would win? The magic realms in these two universes are completely different, but which one is stronger?
I think Doctor Strange on that one.
Alec, I think your dog has an opinion because it keeps barking.
That's not my dog.
No, that's that's yard.
That dog knows comics, all right?
Right?
I'm gonna go coach my dog.
I'm just joking.
He's gonna go think of a comeback. Mike?
I think
defend Marvel.
I think Doctor Strange has the upper hand because, like, it's not just about knowing a bunch of spells. Like, you know, like, oh, well, I have to have this artifact and know this or that. Like, he has those artifacts and things, but, I mean, he's a master. He's been taught, and it's, like, deeply ingrained in him. It's, like, part of who he is. I kind of feel like Constantine is just, like a guy from, like, he would fit in well with the Supernatural crew.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, he just...
Doctor Strange and Constantine?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course Doctor Strange would win. I thought you were doing Doctor Strange and Dr. Fate.
I'll do that too.
Oh, yeah, Dr. Fate.
Yeah.
The master of the artifacts. I mean, I still feel...
I don't know, the dark universe of DC is really powerhouse. I hate that DC doesn't use them as much.
All right, I'm gonna come straight at it. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Zatanna, Constantine, Dr. Fate, Doctor Strange will still whip all their asses at the same time.
What? No.
Yes. First of all, I'll tell you how. Doctor Strange will put a curse on Zatanna where it only allows her to speak backwards. So every time she tries to tell a spell, it will sound out normally.
Normal.
That's a good one.
Now,
Just speak normal.
now Doctor Strange will also put a hex on Dr. Fate and turn his hat.
Wait,
his
hold on.
helmet-
Hold on. If everything Zatanna says is backwards, she can just speak normal and cast her spells that way. Because
All right,
then
you're right.
what she's saying normal would be
We'll put a
backwards.
muzzle on her. Better?
Alright, there you go.
I didn't want. I didn't want to go into all this like kinkiness, but. Okay, and now Dr. Fate. Doctor Strange will just turn his helmet into adamantium, and he won't be able to lift it.
But he
Maybe
wouldn't
like
be
an
able to do
ostrich on the
that
ground.
to his helmet.
How do you know? Has it happened
Because
before?
his helmet's enchanted to protect it from that kind of stuff.
All right, fair
Don't you
enough.
think that don't you think that like Clarion or whatever those other guys would have done, like tried that by now? The other
Try what? I didn't hear.
tried doing taking off his helmet or something, like doing something to make the helmet change. I'm pretty sure that would have been like one of the first ideas.
All right, then. Okay, let's do this then. Doctor Strange will easily knock out Constantine and Zatanna. And
Yes,
he'll
I
be
agree
left
with
to deal
I completely agree with that.
Dr. Fate by himself. Where if we're talking about the newest Dr. Fate, which, okay, I'm not. That's not fair. I'm not even gonna bring that up because I was gonna say like he's just not trained, so he'd be
Yeah.
screwed. But anyway,
Well,
moving on.
Scarlet Witch will really.
Let's put up the multiverses together then, if you guys really want to. Go ahead, pick your favorite DC multiverse. I'll throw it into one that it'll want to go and try back home.
But Marvel doesn't technically have multiverses in the same way that DC does. It has like two.
All right, different versions then. I mean, okay.
It's
Go
had
ahead.
like
Go ahead.
3 or 4 universes maybe.
Well, those 3 or 4 universes is better than 52 of them.
Yeah. Just saying, you can't like compare those because they've only had those, and then they already ended the other ones.
Oh,
now
so
they
you're
don't
saying
have
that
one.
it's not fair for Marvel because Marvel has a disadvantage?
Yes.
I beg to differ.
Multiverses, yes.
Go ahead, throw one multiverse at me, and I'll throw three multiverses at me, and I'll tell you how one of the Marvel multiverses can knock out all 3 of them.
Injustice.
Injustice, okay. There goes one.
Crime Syndicate.
Crime Syndicate. Mm-hmm.
They're
Yeah.
both like the regular DC universe.
No,
Go ahead.
not the current one. The back when Superman was OP, like even more OP when he had like his 50 powers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Silver Age. There you go.
Yeah, one more.
That's 3.
That's only 2. You said Oh,
Yeah,
and the
it's
OP.
still-
Okay.
Yeah, that's
All right.
the Silver Age.
2 words, guys. 2 words everyone cowers in front of. Marvel Zombies.
Interesting.
Now, not only are all these characters facing off against Marvel characters, but zombie versions of the Marvel characters. And if they die, they get resurrected and start fighting against their allies.
But they wouldn't die.
How not, though? You're saying that they would kill the Marvel Zombies? Because, I mean, I'll throw in Marvel Zombie Squirrel Girl into the mix if you want to.
But I'm talking about, but we have the OP Superman that can just do one breath and freeze everything for like 1,000 miles.
All right, but how about Hulk? How about Marvel Zombies Hulk?
You have
But even regular Hulk, who can actually do?
Going into the debate between Superman versus the Hulk, now we're turning it a little twisted. It's Zombies Hulk versus OP Superman. Who would win? I would say, and I mean, yeah, Superman could blow things away.
all right.
But how about Magneto, the one survivor, the one person that could survive the Marvel Zombies apocalypse? Magneto could destroy him. Think about all that damage that happened in Man of Steel rolled up in one ball and smashed on Superman's head.
See, I don't even like Superman, so I'm defending Superman at this point, and that's not something I ever do. Ever.
Mhm.
All right. I still feel like DC universe is stronger overall simply
Even
because
though you have no points. Go ahead.
simply because they face bigger and greater threats.
So I'm sorry, but I could have sworn that I heard little guy named Galactus the World Eater. Who's gonna eat the DC universe? Who's over there threatening Gotham City like that?
Okay. Hello, Brainiac. You have all these people. You have Brainiac destroying the Earth. You have.
Oh no, Brainiac, the cyborg alien, destroying. See, that's the sad thing. That's the sad thing. Whenever you have to compare Galactus, the freaking World Eater, to Brainiac, like that's the argument that you have.
Did you not just see what just happened in Convergence?
Thanks for helping me. See, now if Brainiac was teleported to the Marvel Universe, they would have no problem whooping him, sending him back home to wherever the hell he came to.
I disagree completely.
Really? Okay, the Marvel characters can fight off a freaking god that eats Earths for a living. I think they can knock out one Collector. They already have one of those.
Okay, but you see, that's the thing. He eats planets. One single planet. They fought things. They fought anti-monitors. They fought things that destroy universes. Not planets. Not like a couple planets. They've destroyed universes.
All right, but I'm pretty sure that they're kind of defunct right now, but I'm pretty sure the Illuminati could see Brainiac coming from a mile away and think of some plan to disband him, whereas the Justice League was just caught off guard because of their sheer stupidity running around in their own series, not caring about the greater good of what happens to Earth. They just like, oh, what's going to happen tomorrow? Oh, where's Barbara Gordon?
I don't like the Illuminati.
Why? Because the Illuminati is smarter than any 20 Justice League members that you can find.
Why? Because of the whole reason that T'Challa and Namor didn't want to do it in the first place. Because
who cares about Namor? We're not talking about Namor.
What about Reed Richards? Anyway. Both Reed Richards in both universes.
How about Hank McCoy?
Figured out how to survive the reboot.
Yeah, I mean,
he's an a-hole in every universe.
Listen, you could bring in Bruce Wayne. You can bring in Ray Palmer. You could bring in Ted Kord.
Okay, I will say, yeah.
Oh yeah, those are smart members.
But then you can bring in Earth Scientist Supreme, Hank Pym, Ant-Man.
Yes, Marvel is smarter, but
he could do math circles around those guys. He could solve circles around them.
What about Iron Man that could build any weapon to kill anyone?
Anybody? Have you seen? Okay, yeah, think about. Thank you, Steven. Thank you.
Hold on.
He had a planet killer, for God's sake. A thing that kills the whole planet.
Yeah, exactly. You have Superman versus the Hulk. That's what everyone is always thinking about. They're like, oh man, this would be a good matchup because they're both equally strong. Hello, Iron Man whooped the shit out of the Hulk. I'm pretty sure you can do the same thing for Superman. He invented a new element in Iron Man 2. If you guys
hold on.
He can easily create kryptonite in the Marvel universe.
Okay.
Easily.
Marvel is definitely smarter. None of us ever said otherwise. If anyone says otherwise, they clearly do not read the comics. Marvel is definitely smarter. Still feel like DC's stronger, but we need to move on.
Hey, here's the end all of it all, guys, right here. Okay, you could pit every single DC hero against every single Marvel one, but there's one person who could take them all out.
Who's that?
Me.
You?
Because all I got to do is take a pencil and erase them out of existence, man.
I mean, okay, you want to fight against that? Because I'll fight against that with you.
Well, again. that only counts if you're an actual comic writer.
No, it's okay. I can fight this. I can fight this.
Oh,
Has anybody ever heard of a mini? Has anybody ever heard of a miniseries called Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's what you're doing there.
There's a Wolverine Kill the Marvel Universe, and there's a Punisher one, too.
Yeah, but what happened in Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe? He literally destroyed the Marvel Universe, and at the end, he came after the creators. So go ahead and try to erase Deadpool.
I remember that. He did actually go after the creators.
There needs to be a Squirrel Girl kills the Marvel Universe, because that would be amazing.
That would be.
But
Yeah.
it isn't one yet.
But I think we can all agree that DC is funner to read, more fun.
It is more fun to read. I don't know.
I would
That's why I
disagree. I would totally disagree.
I know you
It's
would,
okay,
Mr.
Mike.
MetaComix.
No one agrees with you either.
I would totally disagree. I actually let's talk about that for a second. Like which one? Let's just talk about which one we prefer and why. We don't necessarily have to defend it against the other person, but just why it is that you personally go that direction. For me, I like Marvel because I grew up more with Marvel characters. Like that's who I was first exposed to. I mean, Superman, I was like the real first superhero, but as far as like characters I actually latched onto and got into their character, it was Marvel characters that did that. So, Spider-Man and the X-Men, those were my kind of entry points. But me personally, because of the kind of work and the job that I do, I get to see a lot of the dumb stuff that happens in the world. So I don't necessarily want to see dark when I go to a comic book, and DC is definitely darker and grittier, and they do it well. I mean, it's like nobody's going to argue with that. When Marvel tries to go dark and gritty, most of the time it just doesn't feel right to me. Yeah, so I mean, I appreciate the lightheartedness, and that's kind of just what I gravitate toward too. So for me, that's what makes it better. But I mean, I can obviously acknowledge that Marvel is a more grounded universe. It's more realistic, whereas DC is like your modern kind of mythology. I mean, these characters are way larger than life, and they kind of have that aura about them. So I don't know, it's like really to compare the two and say one is better is like comparing apples and oranges because they're very, very different.
Very different.
You can't even like lump them in that way. But me personally, I prefer Marvel just because of that, and because it just gives me a reprieve from all the stuff that I see on a normal daily basis. But I still like DC. I still like to get into their books, just not as much as what I get into Marvel.
So yeah, that's the funny thing. The same reason why you like Marvel, I love DC, because like the thing that I've always thought, and I'm sure I'm aware of like some creator acknowledging this too, is that DC is 100% fantasy, whereas Marvel is like, what would happen if real world people were to get superpowers? And that's my thing whenever I start reading a comic book. I don't want to think about the real world. I want to be immersed in its whole totally fantasy world. So like, I would rather read like these crazy stories of like gods and monsters fighting off of each other than, I'm not going to say X-Men because I love X-Men, but like a civil war between activists and anti-activists and pro-activists. Like, Marvel does a really good job at drawing real-world parallels. Like, if you want to go into the X-Men, Magneto and Xavier, Malcolm X, and Martin Luther King.
Right. Yeah.
I don't necessarily want to see these prejudices whenever I'm reading comic books. I just want to see people kick the crap out of each other. And if a good story comes along the way, then a good story comes along the way.
The way I see it is DC has better stories and ongoings, whereas Marvel has better wars and events, like crossover-wise and everything like that.
Because all they have is events and wars and crossovers.
Yeah, like Marvel definitely. Marvel does. I feel like does those better. But DC just like overall, just the regular stories, like that aren't all that kind of crap, are better and more like a lot more fun to read. Simply because they aren't. I don't know. They, like you said, they're a lot more fantasy wise, and things don't always have to be explained. Yeah. Really, like they're like, oh yeah, this happens because they can do it. Whereas in like Marvel, it's like, oh yeah, this happened because they have this in their blood and they have this in their brain, and those two combining means that they can do this.
Mm-hmm. Well, like the thing about the Marvel that I could really appreciate, and this is what got me into comics in the first place, is that they do continuity way better than DC does. Like in every field too. It's not just the movies, it's not just the comics, but TV shows like the animated shows back in the day. You have Spider-Man crossing over with the '90s X-Men. and then you have the Fantastic Four in there, and then you have the Silver Surfer in there, and then you have Thor in there. Like, it's easy for new people to pick up, and the movies have definitely introduced continuity to like the mainstream audiences, because like you can watch a Thor movie and have fun with it, but like if you watch Thor and say Captain America and Iron Man and especially the Avengers, then you have a lot more fun with it. It goes that extra mile. Same thing happens in the comic books. Like if you really love one character and you're reading another series and that character pops up in that series, you're just like, oh my god, he made it in. But DC doesn't really do that. They stay contained in themselves.
Not necessarily. I disagree.
How so? I mean, DC has the team-up books. Marvel, anybody can pop up in any book. You can
But they still cross over.
They do cross over. I'm not saying that they don't. They just cross over a lot less frequently. Like, you could have Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, protecting her city, and then you can see Iron Man flying over. Just a little cameo, sure. You don't see that kind of stuff happening in like The Flash. You don't see Batman driving through.
You had Kamala Khan like randomly running into Wolverine, pretty much. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah. Yeah,
With-
the Marvel universe is definitely a lot more interconnected as far as like just like they seem to be all existing in well, most of the Marvel universe takes place in New York too.
They're all in the same area.
Yeah, they're all in the same city. So
They're all New York, New York, New York, New York, New York.
Yep. So I mean, it's easy. I think it's a little easier to do that, whereas DC kind of spreads out a little bit. You know, you got Coast City, and then you got Gotham and Metropolis, and none of these places are like right next to each other. And stuff. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. Like, and again, coming back to the whole deal of fantasy, I like. Again, kind of like because of my station in life, I like to see a hero who was a normal person who's put into these kind of parallel situations and has the power to do something, because oftentimes I personally feel like I don't have enough power to change anything in a positive way. Mm-hmm. And so for me, seeing that, to me, is just kind of what I gravitate toward. Yeah. But I mean, still, I love Batman. I mean, Batman is still one of my all-time favorite characters, and Superman used to be, but I just ain't really feeling him too much in the last couple of years. Like, it's just, I don't know, man, just can't get into him like I used to. He just seems so overpowered. Like, it's like,
they're definitely changing that.
They're changing it. That's what I'm saying. People should get into Superman right now.
This is the best time for Superman, that's for sure.
They are changing him.
This is probably the best character arc of Superman since like the death of Superman.
Oh, and I disagree with people thinking that Marvel is realism and DC's fantasy. I think the other way around.
How? There's no way.
Because you can even see in the movie themes where they're trying to be realistic.
The Dark Knight doesn't count. The Dark Knight does not count.
Superman is even trying. Man of Steel is supposed to be realistic, so their theme has always been reality. While Marvel's always been fantasy. I see it the opposite, because Marvel has a lot of cosmic powered heroes, and that makes it fantasy.
Okay, well, you see, the thing is, it's not like we're talking about the story-wise. You're talking about like the actual characters. Character-wise, yes, you're definitely right. They're definitely more cosmic and crazy, but story-wise, I feel like they're a lot more closed.
I still can't see even with characters, because I mean, like, whenever I think Marvel, I think Ant-Man, Iron Man, Captain America. You have a super soldier, you have a scientist, you have a scientist. Whenever I think DC, I think Wonder Woman, Superman, Aquaman. You have an Amazon warrior, a Kryptonian alien, and an Atlantean. Like, those are more fantasy to me. Like, and like the other media, they're more realistic. But
you notice they all have strength powers. They don't have magical powers.
Well, here's the thing that I think is interesting to note too. DC is always about, for the most part, the big characters like Superman and whatnot, are godlike characters struggling to be human, whereas over at Marvel, it's humans who are striving to be godlike.
That's a good point.
They freaking fail so bad along the way. And the other guys fail the other way a lot. So it's like their struggles are mirrored, but in different directions. So
that's really true. Because I mean, you have like Superman struggling with not being Clark Kent right now, whereas you have like Squirrel Girl or Kamala Khan both loving and like idolizing superheroes and just wanting to be one really bad. And like, yeah, I can see that a lot. And I mean, you can make that argument with Spider-Man in the movies, but like, generally DC characters, you've heard this line before, like, I didn't choose these powers. Are they a gift or they're a curse? Like, that's what you hear in DC. In Marvel, you're just like, holy shit, this is awesome. Look what I can do.
Yeah, true.
Look at Steve Rogers. He was a bony little guy, and then he got implants with the superhero soldier, and now he's just like tearing doors off of cars and running at the speed of sound. Or whatever. He doesn't do that. But
I was like, what?
When the hell did he develop this power? I was.
Ah, man.
I didn't have my opinion about what I think is better, Marvel or DC.
Well, I think it's best not to have an opinion. Because you remain open to both.
I just prefer DC because I grew up with DC, but I don't like to say what's better. I don't like to use the word better because to me there is no better.
Yeah.
There's no Marvel and DC is not better than each other.
Listen, everybody.
I just prefer DC because I grew up on it. That's all. It's a biased opinion.
That's the funny part.
Not fair.
I definitely know more of DC than I do Marvel. That's for sure.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
probably what I'm for. Like, I could go in and tell you in in-depth detail, like, most of DC.
I actually just found this. It's a universal guide for Fantastic Four. Like, it has, like, all the, like, except from, like, it came out with the Silver Surfer movie, but it's not about the movie. It's, like, actually about the comics and stuff. So it has everything that happened up until, like, then.
Thank God it didn't. It's not about that movie.
Yeah. But it's actually it's really cool. It has like a lot of really cool information in here. It's like it ends with like Marvel Knights.
Oh wow!
It's like I got this Marvel Encyclopedia.
Oh.
I got this bad boy, the Marvel
Those
75.
things are useless now because you have Wikipedia.
Yeah, but see, I had these before, and I have the X-Men guide for all the X-Men stuff.
Well, I think I just choked both you guys because I have this. The Guide to the Multiverse. By Grant Morrison.
Grant Morrison! Get that thing out of there, please!
Are you trying to make me throw up, Alec? Are you trying to make me throw up?
I do like Grant Morrison when it came to like Batman stuff, but when he does other things, it's just ugh.
I will say, man, wow, I just like made a mess. All my stuff fell off my desk. Yeah, I know. I actually like Grant Morrison's Batman stuff, but I absolutely hate everything else.
See, me and Mike are on the same page.
His Batman work is great. I freaking hate anything else. If I could, I would grab every copy of everything else he's ever done and burn it.
Not my copies. I enjoyed them. You can have my copies.
These are not the copies you enjoy.
I don't feel either. I have no opinion on it. I'm just kind of like, it was all right.
Now
He's all right. Nothing amazing. Nothing terrible.
well, yeah. Okay. So anyway, closing the debate section. Everybody listening to this podcast, go ahead and leave in the comment section below what you think is stronger, Marvel characters or DC characters. Marvel characters, DC characters.
All about that DC.
I know, man. So go ahead, leave your comments down in the comment section below. Let us know, and please show Josh that he's wrong. Squirrel girl.
That's not gonna happen. So
It seems like Josh lost the battle this time. 'Cause Mike was just standing there.
I was enjoying the show.
I feel like Alec is just so stubborn that he just like could not accept that like what I was saying was right. So he came up with like these crazy things like
Because it
squirrel
wasn't
girl.
right. No. You see, this whole debate is like whenever your friend starts picking on the nerd in class and the nerd just taekwondo's him. It's like, you're the bully and I'm the nerd and Mike is just the friend. He's just like, oh shit.
I'm just throwing pebbles, like hoping that you guys keep going. Like, oh, you gonna let him get away with that, dog? Come on, man.
That's what Steven
Oh,
was.
so what? You're the spectator?
He just said something about your mama, dude.
All right,
Mike is
so
an instigator.
All right, guys. I think in closing here, I wanted to just take a minute and talk about what we got coming out soon. So, is anybody working on anything that you're going to be posting up soon or anything?
I just did a little poll on Comics Amino, and I asked you guys for y'all's opinion too about for what I should do first for Valiant. And so I'm going to be doing the miniseries The Valiant first, followed by Quantum and Woody, Bloodshot, Ninjak, and then Exo Manowar. And then after that, I'll probably be doing Dead Drop, and then the event, the whole Book of the Dead event should be started. So I'll most likely be doing that after.
And I just finished up with my scripts for the top 10 members of the Avengers. I know I said last week that should be coming out this week, but now I'm saying this week that it's going to be coming out later on this week. And I'm actually going to run a poll after this on Comics Amino also. This is not a sponsored podcast, so everyone should be.
I know, right?
It's going to be the top 10 members of the Justice League. So,
Sweet.
look forward to that.
Awesome. Steven, you got anything that you're thinking about doing or looking at posting up
I'm
anytime?
thinking of.
I can tell you guys the answer to number one.
I started working on a review for Legend of Korra.
Oh my goodness, that's such a good idea. What
I know that's late because it's finished a long time ago.
Hey, all right.
I really want to do it. And I want to do a review on Convergence. That's about it.
I can give you a review on Convergence right now.
Go ahead.
Wow.
Don't waste your money.
It kind of is.
It's like
I
I'm gonna
started
go into more-
liking it, and then later on I started not liking it.
Oh,
it's like I'm going to go into more detail about why it sucks, but basically, yeah.
oh, I forgot. Of course, June 1st, DC starts the new lineup, so look forward to a whole bunch of reviews off of the new comics.
Isn't that tomorrow? Oh wait, no,
Yes, it
tomorrow's
is.
not June. Yeah,
Don't get me
no,
excited.
it's
Yes.
not June.
It's already June.
Yeah, it is
June
June.
3rd.
Yeah, it's June 3rd tomorrow. That's when everything happens.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I look forward to that.
Yeah, but I have no money to get the comics this week, so I'm pissed.
I hate it when that happens.
I'm just like they're all gonna be my box. That still has like 20 comics that I haven't been able to buy yet. I'm like, I go to my box and I like select like half of that week's, and so I'm just like now they're like building up and it's like crap.
Yeah, dude, I get physical copies. So like, I have a pull list in my store, and it's like to hold all the copies of the books. And I forgot to go like for 2 months. I think I went on vacation or something like that. Oh my god! I came back and I owed so much money. I'm just like, I'm not sure if I want them anymore. He's like, you better take them.
I like that that some stores will hold them for that long, because like one of the stores I have, they're like, oh yeah, after like a month if you don't come, we're gonna we'll just like put them back up on the shelf. I'm just like, well, that sucks.
No, I had like a short box full of comics.
Nice.
I
need
guess
to
I'm
get a new
lucky.
box. Speaking of that,
Because
Yeah.
me and my boyfriend are into comics. And so we pick and choose and share comic books.
That's a good idea.
Sharing is the
yeah,
way to go.
my girlfriend's not into comics.
I know my wife's not
Sadly.
either. So.
My girlfriend doesn't know who the Flash is.
Ah,
My girlfriend thought I tried showing my girlfriend The Flash, and she said it was a bad show. I was just like,
Wow!
Okay.
What is she?
yeah, what is she watching? Yeah.
I have no
Supergirl.
idea. She like
Show her the pilot for
she-
Supergirl. See what she sees about that.
She didn't think she thought Supergirl was all right, but I'm just like
But that's
I'm
so.
just like Flash is so much better.
Hey Josh, man, look at me, bro. Look at me. Seriously, do you see yourself staying with this girl for the rest of your life? She doesn't know who the Flash is. She likes Supergirl. I'll put her away.
Alex could be watching this. Be careful.
But see, I liked it, but yeah, but definitely the Flash is better. Goodness.
See what you gotta do. You gotta go to a con, pick up a cosplayer, and there you go. Live happily ever after.
All right. So is that all we have for?
Pretty much. The only thing that I've got is this week is I've got a topic video I'm posting up tomorrow and a review for Nova 31 that I'm going to post up tomorrow. But the topic video is going to be on gender and race swaps in comic books. I'm going to open up that can of worms and see what people think about that.
Well, I mean, you could definitely look up the DC, where their gender-bent universe and then their race-bent universe.
Yeah, so I mean, just, like, basically the whole premise is, what do you think about when they do that? Should they really take characters that are already established and change their race or gender, or should they just create new characters that can kind of grow into all their own?
They can have a debate about that because the people on the internet have some weird opinions.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for, dude.
Oh. The one thing I did like about Convergence was Black Superman from Earth 2. He's awesome. He's the Superman we deserve.
And people don't like him because he's black.
Like,
I don't like him.
he is more Superman than the New 52 Superman.
That's great.
Well, that about wraps it up for us, guys.
Can I do it? I want to do it.
Oh, do it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody listening at home, for tuning in this episode of the MetaComix Podcast. Once again, make sure to leave your comments down in the comment section below, letting Josh know just how wrong he is. And go ahead and vote for anything we'll talk about later on in the next podcast. While you're at it, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. And do not forget to subscribe, so you don't miss out on any of this awesome content we have coming for you.
And that'll take us out.
Squirrel Girl.